Guys, how are we getting along? We need to upload soon.
Hi, boss.
The client wants more efficiency. Can we improve the numbers? Anyway, you will make it work.
Oh no, I lost building number 3 somewhere. Pens down. I need to upload.
If you have ever worked in architecture, urban design, landscape, or any other design field, you probably know this. You have one project, but 20 different places where the project actually lives. Rhino for modeling, Photoshop for visuals, Illustrator for diagrams, PowerPoint for storytelling, Revit for smart geometry and drawing sets, InDesign for printouts and reports, PDF markups, email comments. That creates a lot of friction. Someone is exporting something, someone is importing, someone is opening the wrong file, and someone is saving a file with the name Final version 12 real final. And everyone is pretending that that's normal. And to be fair, the majority of project teams work like that. The strange thing is, we already have collaborative software, but it's messy. Different software versions, different plugins, so one can open the file, the other cannot. Local installs versus cloud versions. And then someone forgot to update. Someone changed the name of the main file. And someone doesn't have enough RAM to actually open the file. And suddenly you're not designing anymore. You are managing software problems. And this gets worse the bigger and faster the projects become. Especially competitions, especially deadlines, especially when multiple people have to move quickly.
Guys, I want to see progress tonight. We need to win this project. Otherwise, we can probably close our studio.
How on earth?
Another long night.
Look at this. Should we maybe try this? Try what? Arcol. Simple interface. Shared model. Cloud-based.
Another tool trying to be clever. Changing software mid-project is crazy.
This is where Arcol becomes interesting. You see, what makes Arcol unique is not giving you yet another tool, it's supercharging the ones you already use, like Rhino.
Does Rhino talk to it? Apparently. Let's try it. We've got nothing to lose.
Carol, Maya and Alex are under big pressure. They have to deliver a project within 3 weeks. Time is running out. Of course they are skeptical, changing software halfway through the project. I would be skeptical too. But what they don't know yet is Arcol tackles several very painful problems. It is geared towards real-time metrics. You see, architects want to see shapes. Developers want to know the data. In Arcol, whatever shape you put in, you will get data right away. This is a particular painful problem on projects in concept stage with many options. On top of that, there is no version archaeology. The project saves automatically. Everyone works on the same project, the same version, always. And people can even work across different history stages of the project. It sounds subtle, but if you ever worked on a deadline, this becomes a real big deal. This is why Arcol deserves a different kind of tutorial. So let's see if this thing can actually survive a real project.
Okay, so apparently everyone works in the same project.
Yeah, and apparently every software company also says they'll solve collaboration, and then in 3 weeks we are rebuilding everything from scratch.
Talking about the problem isn't making it better. Alex, try to get the Rhino integration working. Maya, let's set up the site. Okay, let's do it. Let's see what this thing actually does.
Head over to arcol.io. The website doesn't waste your time. To put simple, Arcol is a collaborative virtual building platform for early stage projects, where teams including architects, developers, consultants, and owners can model together, test ideas, and make decisions. Basically, a 3D world with metrics, data, and collaboration. And what I really appreciate, it has a free plan, so anyone, really anyone, can try it and can learn it for free, because you never know where the next genius idea will come from. If you haven't signed up yet, you can sign up with Google, Microsoft, or your own email address, and you're ready to go. Alright, we're in. What I really appreciate is that the interface is kept super simple. On the left, you have your project, recent, drafts, and shared. And then below, you have examples and tutorials. So if you ever get stuck or you want to dive deeper, this is the place. For this video, I will keep things focused. We will quickly set up a site, and then we move fairly quickly into the Rhino integration, because that's where things start getting interesting. So let's create a project.
Okay, this actually looks pretty simple, but how do I even set the plot boundary?
Yeah, and what happens when the Rhino sync breaks? Because it definitely will.
Oh, it will break for sure.
Also, how does this thing even know where the site is?
Good. Break it. Better now than 2 days before deadline. Figure it out.
Maya and Alex have some really good questions, but let's see how we can answer these. To create a new project, just go here to create, and then new project. And it greets you with a map, of course, because we want to locate our project in the real world. You can either pan or fill in the address of your project. And if you're not sure, you can change here the map background to either light or satellite, just to make sure you're really on the right spot. This is my site. I place the cursor in the middle, and now I want to add a bit more context. I want to make the context larger. It's a big site. And now I can choose site boundary options. I recommend for you to use auto. You can also import your own site boundary. And this is already one of the quite interesting things about Arcol. You're not just starting with an empty modeling space. You can start with the actual site context and the right location. And then you have some terrain options. I recommend to import the 3D terrain. You can also choose flat. That might be interesting when you start out. It's simpler, but it gives you less options. You can also import your own terrain model. Now I go back here to 3D. This really matters because usually this kind of georeferenced context is awkward to get into a modeling workflow. You either rebuild it or you move between different tools. Here the idea is that the site data becomes part of the shared project environment from the get-go. And then we can just click next. Now we're not yet finished. Because we chose auto, we can choose the plot boundary. Because I want to choose more than one, I want to choose this whole site, I have here the option merge adjacent site boundaries. And I can just click all of these and save. And here we are. We have our 0.5 mile context site, and we have our site boundary set. Quickly on the interface, on the left I have a drop-down list with typical file handling functions. Next to it I have a toolbar. Below we have views, design options, and boards. These are very powerful spaces for collaboration, thinking, and we can see Carol is putting together slides for the next presentation. In the center is the actual model space. And on the right we have metrics, where we can start to see things like site area, building information, area types, costs, and other early project numbers. So this is not just a model viewer, it's already tying geometry to information. And if you want to go deeper, Arcol already has a pretty extensive knowledge base and tutorials built in. So if you get stuck, you're covered. What I want to focus on though is Rhino. Because realistically, many of us work in Rhino. And Maya and Alex actually raised a fair concern.
But how do I even set the plot boundary?
Yeah, and what happens when the Rhino sync breaks?
Fair questions. Because before Rhino and Arcol can talk to each other, we need to make sure they are talking about the same place. So in order to set the project origin, you go up here and set project base point. And I will choose this corner here. This will sync to the origin in Rhino. This is your origin point in Rhino. And in case your Rhino model would be rotated away from the original north, then you can also adjust your north here. Now, in order for Rhino to talk to Arcol, we need the plugin. The installation is refreshingly uncomplicated. Just drag the installer into Rhino, and then we just restart. And that's basically it. And remember what Alex said.
And what happens when the Rhino sync breaks?
Honestly, it's surprisingly straightforward. Let me show you. Plugin installed, Rhino restarted, and we've set our base points. Now, in order to link Rhino with Arcol, we just need to type in select Arcol project. That will open the Arcol connector. If it's your first time, then it will ask you to log in. In my case, I can just choose the project. Now, what you also need is this toolbar here. You can find this under panels and you just click the Arcol logo. And now let's bring in some geometry. In that case, I want to bring in the podium levels, and we can bring in the towers later. Then you just press create Arcol element. Here you have two options, splittable or reference only. I will choose splittable because I want to convert the geometry into buildings and to be able to split it into floors. Create. And when the green bar is gone, then we know it's already inside Arcol. And there it is. Honestly, pretty painless. Now, before we get carried away with facade details, floor plans and functions, let's stay disciplined. Massing first. Because at this stage, we're really just trying to understand scale, density, relationships and basic proportions. But what we should do, let's make sure we have this in our correct design option. Go to design options and set option 1. And we can also set floors. By default, it will divide the massing into 10 feet slices. We could change here the count, or because this is a podium level, I wanted to have the floors slightly taller, I can change this to 12. And here we are, it automatically shifted the floor level up. Now we could set functions, either including the whole massing or individual floors. But let's bring in the other buildings first.
We might actually pull this off.
Now, for the towers and the pavilions, because I want to keep them as separate objects inside Arcol, I can use the bulk create elements function. And they're already in the Arcol model. Now let's make sure we do the same procedure as before, put them into the right design option. And we can split them into floors. If some of the floors look too big, we can simply adjust the floor height or the floor count. Looks pretty good to me. Now, but what if I want to change the massing?
Oh, another call from the boss!
Client wants significant changes before the review.
Oh, God.
Let's say I want to fillet all the corners, because our podium is also filleted. Well, it's pretty straightforward. We just need to fillet our model here in Rhino, and then we update. And I can do that all at once. And now I can just update. I could update every individual tower, or I can just update all of them. And here we are. Now, what's really cool is it kept all our floors and it just updated the massing. This is pretty impressive. Let's set up a new view. One thing to notice, it's already updated in the board.
Great progress. Knew you'd figure it out. Good news. Client review moved forward.
Forward?
Good opportunity. You'll make it work.
That's impossible.
I told you
You
this
are
would-
not helping.
I'm not being negative, I'm being realistic. We don't have time for 5 ideas, we need one good one.
Okay, one direction.
The battle is never just about the software or the workflow. It's about time. Time is the ultimate master. Now, in order for the team to pass the review with the client, they need to play a bit more. And options are a good way to find alternatives. Arcol has a good way to track options. In design options, we can create option sets. We can add options to option sets. Currently, we have option set 1 and option 1. This is our option 1. We also have a base. This is just a context. This is a good way to check what's inside an option. We can create here a new option, or better, for smaller, quicker iterations, we can duplicate an option. Rhino objects behave slightly different in Arcol. We cannot change the width or the height. That we would need to do in Rhino. But we can still change their orientation and position, for example. Although we have a toolbar here on top, we can use shortcuts. M for move and Q for rotate. I have this building selected and I click and I rotate, and you can just input the angle you want. Now with move, I can lock here certain axes. I want to lock the Y axis. And we can save the view updates in our board. We can add another sheet, change the name, option 2. And here we are. Now the team has created a second option and also added an early rendering. And now they're ready to present. With this button, Apple opens a new window to the presentation. Now, of course, this is just a draft, but imagine this is a live presentation where the actual model is loaded in real time. We can still change the order here because I want to have the rendering at the end. I want to have the masking option 1 at the beginning, second option, and then the rendering.
Want to hear some good news?
Client loved the direction. They'd like to see 3 more versions. 1 more iconic, 1 more economic, 1 more commercially ambitious.
Those are completely different projects.
Exactly. Architecture isn't about finding the answer. It's about exploring possibilities.
Now we are talking.